1,000 days into President William Ruto's administration, and his approach to curbing corruption has been described as a bag of mixed goodies. From his very first act of appointing judges and giving financial autonomy to investigative agencies to a government running opaque dealings such as the Adani JKI deal, Kenya Kwanza has sent mixed signals over its commitment to curb theft of public funds. Here's NTV's Ibrahim Karanja with an in-depth look at Corruption Watch in 1,000 days of Ruto.
On our first day, we will free the DCI. We will free the KRA from state capture.
I can account for everything.
William Samoei Ruto.
More than 1,000 days after President William Ruto rode into office on, amongst other things, a vow to dismantle Kenya's corruption machine, his Kenya Kwanza administration faces explosive scandals, civil unrest, and a nation demanding answers.
I wouldn't give it 7 out of 10. Of course, 7 out of 10. I am rating myself. I mean, I'm part of this government. I'll give it 7 out of 10.
Page 59 of the 2022 Bottom-Up Economic Transformation Agenda Better Manifesto promised institutional independence for anti-corruption bodies, annual transparency reports, and a public inquiry into state capture. By June 2025, some of these commitments have been met, albeit partially, such as financial autonomy of the National Police Service, independence of anti-corruption bodies such as the EACC and the judiciary. However, some others remained a pipe dream so good on paper.
I would say that we are not there yet for this reason, that yes, there is the politics of the day, but there is also that place of the oath that was taken by the occupiers of these offices, especially the leadership, that it behooves the occupiers of these offices to execute their mandate in such a manner that frees their conscience and makes these institutions to render their services in a manner that is satisfactory to the public that are beneficiaries of these services.
In the first 1,000 days of President Ruto, several scandals have been under the microscope. Perhaps the most controversial was the attempted takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by Indian conglomerate Adani, a deal which, though cancelled, remains a mystery to Kenyans. It collapsed in 2024 after the US indicted Gautam Adani for fraud, but questions linger. Why did Ruto fast-track this deal despite red flags?
There was some kind of opaqueness or lack of clarity and openness in the manner in which the negotiation was being done. One of the beauties of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is public participation, the issues of active citizenry by way of petitions, picketing, and we saw the people came out and even went to court. One of the great beauties of this Constitution, just as beautiful as the Niagara Falls, and I will tell you this, that should have shamed the conscience of any person in government who was pushing for those deals with the lack of openness and clarity.
Then there was the counterfeit fertilizer which flooded markets in 2024, implicating then Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi. Farmers lost billions of shillings, yet there were no high-profile convictions. Parliament made an attempt to impeach Linturi, but he was saved. Interestingly, those who saved the man from Egembe that time are his biggest critics today, making many wonder about the political goodwill to fight corruption or whether it simply depended on political persuasions. A $1 billion mosquito nets procurement scandal led to PS Josephine Mboro's ouster, while edible oil shortages sparked price-fixing allegations. In both cases, auditors called them systemic procurement failures.
Hustler Fund, Jinue.
Ruto's flagship microfinance initiative, the Hustler Fund, started by facing scrutiny over opaque sourcing of the monies. The opposition at the time alleged that the fund was a slush fund for political patronage.
They are transparent, but not to the expectations. And that's why we have kept on pushing for us to get the right information, right documentation, for us to make sure that we have prudent use of public resources.
According to the Auditor General's 2023-2024 financial year summary report, the national government and its agencies continue to face significant audit challenges. Mandated by Article 229 of the Constitution, the Auditor General confirms whether public resources have been applied lawfully and effectively. In the last financial year, only a fraction of government entities received unqualified audit opinions, while a substantial number received qualified, adverse or disclaimer opinions, indicating persistent gaps in transparency and accountability.
By the time the Auditor General brings up the issue to Public Accounts Committee, the Auditor General is not satisfied. And that's why he's saying that you need to appear before the people's representative and answer more.
Then there is the issue of institutional independence as per President Ruto's commitment.
We have been independent. We have conducted our operations independently. We've not had instances or situations where we've had political interference. There is a laid out procedure in which we conduct our business, especially when it comes to investigations. So the Constitution and the statute protect the Commission from external interferences.
In an attempt to save the country from eventual losses through corruption, the approach is also quickly changing with an aim for recoveries of proceeds of corruption.
In many cases, you will see when we investigate someone for a criminal matter, that person, that is not the only time when they have stolen. They have stolen many other times in many cases. So it is the right thing to do, and it is also provided for in law that any stolen assets, public stolen assets, should be recovered. So when we file for civil recovery, it doesn't mean that we close the criminal file. The two systems, the two files go parallel concurrently at the same time.
In terms of independent institutions being truly independent and observably so from the eyes of the common citizen, most ordinary Kenyans feel that these institutions are not truly independent, that there is political interference in the discharge of their mandate.
Of course, perceptions will be there, because as you understand, our country, in many instances, is divided into two political divides, one being in government, another one being in the opposition. At any given time when we investigate a senior person from the government side, there will always be, that we are witch hunting people in government. When we investigate people from the opposition leadership will also be up in arms. And that is the nature of our work. It's not anything that we can do much about. All that we have to do as a commission is to do our job professionally and also within the law.
Some of President William Ruto's former allies and insiders are now referring to him as corrupt.
I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya. I have come sadly to that conclusion. And I have no bitterness.
But if you see him talking about corruption, you're like, who is this talking about corruption? Is it because he's corrupt?
Examples aside.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very. Yes, irredeemably.
Okay.
Corrupt.
We have seen he has tried in terms of giving them funding, as in allocation of funding, and even Office of the Auditor General. We have had legislations like the Public Audit Act being legislated and amended so that the Office of the Auditor General has more independence, especially formation of the board, which was not there. So, and the President has signed the amendments because the President has to sign for it to become law. So by him signing, he has promoted that independence and openness when we talk about the auditing process and the independence of the commissions. But we need to do more.
We are trying. I'm not saying that we have reached where we want to reach, but of course, I've told you, we have an historical culture of impunity, culture of corruption, culture of, right? Doing things the way the government wants to do. But of course, as a government, we are trying.
And it is time we firmly decisively go forward as a nation and eliminate incompetence, vested interest, and corruption.
And that time, President William Ruto's term to firmly and decisively deal with corruption is now past the half mark. And with slightly over 2 years remaining, what the president does with the remaining months will determine whether he will leave a legacy or he will have been considered as a failure in curbing corruption. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV, Nairobi.
On our first day, we will free the DCI. We will free the KRA from state capture. I can account for every day of the 1,000 days.